Rogers TV Durham would like to acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation of the Mississauga Nation. May we respectfully honor the knowledge and understanding of the Indigenous stewards of these ancestral lands and ensure that the voices of the First Peoples are represented in our collections, programs, and services.
The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Politics. I'm Debra Hutchison. Our guest this week is Durham Regional Chair John Henry. Been a while since you and I have sat down and had a chat. Great to see you again. Thanks for joining us. I know how busy your schedule is. Crazy busy.
It has been very busy, but it's always good to see you and say hello. And thank you for the good work you do about getting the messages about the municipalities in the region out to our residents.
We've got a lot of things to talk about on our list, so let's get to it. I want to start with the controversial 1635 Dundas, the old Sunnycrest nursing home in Whitby that's been purchased by the region for a low barrier shelter. I'm hearing that term a lot. What does that mean, low barrier?
So it really is a facility that will be designed to support the people that are living rough within the region. Low barrier refers to some of the aspects around the challenges we're having with people that are living in, well, for example, in Whitby, we have a gentleman who's turned a bus shelter on McQuaid Boulevard into his home. And it really allows us to help provide the supports that individual would need to hopefully, after a bit of time, we'll be able to start to contribute back to society. So a lot of controversial issues around that property. But it is a building that is built, and we're currently going through it to make it work. And the building has all kinds of other potentials down the road, and through community consulting, we'll figure out what other projects we're going to do in that building. But it is a good project to support those who are in desperate need. And the homelessness is now just not about the person you see sleeping in a bus shelter. It's about people sleeping in their cars. It's about families sleeping in their cars. Seniors, homelessness related to seniors is becoming a big thing now. So anything that we can do to advance this in 1635 is going to help us.
As you mentioned, there's a lot of current controversy surrounding it. I think the community meetings have been well attended and rather emotional. And one of the questions people are asking is, why was the community not consulted about this plan before the region went ahead and bought the property?
Well, buying real estate is always something that's done without identifying the purchase. Municipalities do that. It's common practice, and we didn't break any of the rules. And the challenges in Whitby are well known. And we've been working with, we have one facility in Whitby right now on Highway 2 that's been in existence for quite a while. And we continue to support each of our 8 municipalities. We've got a project in Brock. We now know of the homeless challenges in Clarington, the challenges in Ajax. Homelessness comes in a lot of different ways. And, now the other add-on for homelessness in Durham Region is asylum seekers. But that's another story. But, we don't advertise the purchasing of real estate. We don't want to create any other challenges when we're doing that. But the challenges related to homelessness, our staff were well aware, and so were members of council of the challenges related to homelessness in Whitby prior to the purchasing of this facility.
I guess they're just what the public is telling us is that there hasn't been enough information on how that type of shelter will be integrated safely within the community. And there are safety concerns. property value concerns for the homes that are, close to it. How do you respond to that? What do you say to those who are concerned for safety?
Well, the mayor, Mayor Roy, has and her CEO Matt Gaskell has come to the region with a list of their concerns that we've worked through. Council has to approve those, though, so we've identified some of the concerns. The challenges of people that are living rough exist in that community now, as it is throughout Whitby. We have people living in ravines, bus shelters, living in their cars. The challenges already exist. So here we have the opportunity to take some of those individuals who have some real challenges that need to be addressed and take them out of the situation then and putting them in a building that is owned by the region, that the region will supervise, that will bring those supports to them to help them get back on track. Homelessness is a problem that's affecting every community in this country. It's a crisis. The government, federal government, doesn't call it a crisis. But if you have a problem in every community in all of Canada, then it is a crisis. And here we are. We're managing it in Durham. Not a lot of support from the federal government. They do commit some money to housing, but we really need to look at this in a very, very different light. And as for meeting the needs of the community, you're right. We've held a number of public meetings. Getting the right information out there has been a challenge. And we're posting as people, write in and give questions. You can go to the region's website, and all those questions that people are asking are being addressed. And we will continue to work with the town of Whitby to make sure the facility meets the expectations of the mayor and the town.
When are you looking to open this facility?
Well, we've made a statement at the last public meeting that the facility will not open prior to December 15th, but it will only open when the facility is ready. So we're working on the building now. I can't give you a date the exact date yet, but it will not be prior till December 15th.
And I think, as it's been explained to me, there's space for 45 people when it initially opens, but it can hold much more than that.
Well, it can, and that's what the other part of the consultation process is that to ask what the other things they'd like to see in that facility. You're right, the building's very big, and there's other opportunities, but this is only a 45-unit shelter, and that part the region stands by. Will there be other services in that facility? We will work with the community and the town of Whitby to make sure that we meet the needs of some of the other challenges or opportunities that exist. And but that will happen after the opening. The consultation process will continue though.
So will it always just be a shelter for 45
So the shelter
bodies?
Is 45. That has been stated, and we stand by that. Managing the facility any larger than that just doesn't make sense. But for some of the other opportunities in that building, the space is large. We've had discussions around some possible opportunities, but it's still in the process. But the immediate need is to help those 45 people within the town of Whitby that are having challenges.
It's also been asked, is it really the best location, the right location for a shelter? I mean, the building was available and the building was there, but is it the right location? When previously speaking about, the challenges of the homeless, and they need access to, social services, and it needs to be within walking distance because a lot of them don't have transit.
So it is on a transit route, but wraparound supports brings the services into the building for the people that are there. So they will be getting the supports they need. And the unique part about this particular building is, you're right, it's very large. So during the day, most shelters put people back out onto the street, but here the option will be to stay inside because the space is there and the services will be provided to help people move along. And our goal is to get them to a point where they can move along to another location. Our housing staff will, once people are on the right path, we'll be able to try to find additional space someplace else to move people along. So it's a difficult project at best. It's hard to put a shelter in anywhere in any community. Here, it's on a bus route with the appropriate regional staff in the building and the wraparound supports. We think we have something that will be a little bit different. I wish we didn't have to do this. You know, there needs to be a big discussion about homelessness in this country. And the three leaders at the federal level need to sit around a table and not argue with each other over issues, but argue about solutions and what we can do to make it better. That conversation's not happening, and it's sad that it's left to municipalities. You know, you hear the prime minister and ministers say that housing is a municipal responsibility. Well, it's a challenge because housing the homeless is a challenge, and you know, we've got problems in all 8 municipalities in the region of Durham, but we have problems in every municipality in this country. So it's a struggle, and we're doing our best to make sure it works. The building will be is an opportunity for us. It is on a transit route, but the services the individuals need to be successful in that building will be brought to them.
Have you had any conversations with our federal members of Parliament here in Durham Region about the need for federal support?
I have, and you know, I've been able to have conversations with some. They're listening. I'm not sure they're hearing us because the other levels of government, particularly the federal level of government, is removed so far away from the average individual. They don't deal with municipal issues. I don't really think they understand the complexities of homeless. I do know that a couple do. Because I've had conversations with them, and we've done some interesting things together, but not all of them. And that's the challenge: is we need to be able to educate our MPs and our MPPs on the problems we're having at the municipal level. And then it's looking at all of this. It's also the cost of homelessness. You know, homelessness is something that we're dealing with, but you know, would we do better if we had a plan in place and how the money was spent? Could we do more? And that's a conversation that needs to take place. It's not something that we at this level of government can do, but at the federal level of government, you know, there are things that they can do. The challenges of you know, re-releasing people that are selling drugs onto the street to prey upon the victims that are struggling. And then that relates to mental health and homeless and addiction problems. And we can't fix that unless we have support from the federal government as it relates to how they manage the re-release of people that are selling. Just in one example is drug dealers.
I have to ask you on a more positive note. We recently had an announcement with money for supportive housing for youth, a project in Oshawa.
So this is, if you've never met Clarence at the Refuge, he is he's
amazing.
He's got this energy level about him. This is a project where you know, the other levels of government have been listening to us. So here's a challenge where we have, you know, he deals with, this is for young people, young adults, where they're living in not so nice conditions, to bring them together, to give them a place to live with the wraparound supports that the Refuge provides. It is a great story of being able to help those in need in our community, and it's located in Oshawa. And the Refuge is currently located there, but Clarence is a champion for some of the challenges related to youth challenges and homelessness. And I'm really happy to have been there the other day. Mayor Roy was there to MC the event, and Mayor Carter was there, and Councillor Chapman and Councillor Mulcahy were there. And Clarence is just amazing. He's able to raise funds in the most unique ways. He is such a champion. He does such an amazing job with the coldest night of the year, and how he's able to raise money in February to support the causes of the Refuge. This will be another project that is something that is close to my heart, and will continue to support. But there are some champions on council. Mayor Carter and Councillor Chapman are both champions. Our Durham Region Police Youth Group is out there on the coldest night of the year raising money for this, and has done some great work and raised a large amount of money over the years to help support this great cause.
Okay, and on that, I'm going to hold you there. We are in conversation with Durham Regional Chair John Henry. More to come after this.
Game TV's Watch and Win contest is back with over $75,000 in cash prizes. Tune in to Jeopardy weeknights at 8:30. Spot the code word, then head over to GameTVContests.com to enter. With a new code word every weeknight, that's 35 chances to enter. Don't just watch the winners, be a winner with Game TV's Watch and Win contest. Contest runs October 16th to December 1st. Visit GameTVContests.com for more info.
Hey, I'm Chef Corey Dern, host of a show on Rogers TV Georgina called Cooking with Corey. Join me bi-weekly for brand new episodes where I teach you not only what to cook, but how to cook. The only thing missing is smell-o-vision. That's Cooking with Corey right here on Rogers TV Georgina.
Are you ready for a scarily good episode of Cinema Themes? And producer John Green and I have you covered as we dismember Halloween and horror movies. Tune in if you dare.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk Politics. Debra Hutchison here in conversation this week with Durham Regional Chair John Henry. First segment of the show, we talked about homelessness. Let's move on to talk about a couple of other things. Now, I have to ask you, we heard a lot about Peel and, the separation of a municipality from Peel Region. And you had to think, okay, here we go. Is there going to be a domino effect? Are there going to be more? Have there been any rumblings about changes at Durham Region, or do you not see that happening out here?
We don't see it happening out here. And there's been really no rumblings. The 8 municipalities work well together. We support each other. Each part of our community does things that contribute to the economy of Ontario, and no one piece of the Durham Region pie can really stand on its own. So where in Mississauga and Brampton, you've got some mayors who've been in the news for a long period of time. In Durham, you don't read or hear about those stories. So I'm very happy that we work well together. The province knows we work well together. We'll go through some kind of a review process, but we do not see anything happening to Durham Region.
Yeah, but I do have to ask you, at a council meeting, a couple of meetings back, you had a very stern, not a warning, you weren't really calling them out, but you made it very clear to councillors that they work for the region too. That yes, they are elected to represent their own municipality, but when they sit there at the region as a Durham regional councillor, they work for the region too. What was that all about?
Well, the challenge that we were having is that local issues were starting to take over regional council meetings. And at regional council, we have to look at the big picture. We talk about issues in all 8 municipalities, the overall challenges of the region, and no one municipality can really bring their local issues forward to regional council. That's not how regional council works. So when you swear your oath to the region, you're a regional councillor in the region of Durham, and we work on regional related issues. So trying to separate the two issues, local issues are for the municipalities. Here at the region, we deal with regional issues.
Always tough, I would think, if you are elected as a Durham regional councillor. Yes, you have to keep in mind the big picture, but you are a local councillor too. What's your best advice for juggling that and coming to a good middle ground?
Well, I think the big thing is that the local issues that are involved in their councils that are controversial should stay there. They shouldn't migrate into regional council. It's a challenge trying to navigate all the issues, and people get passionate. And I know that sometimes a member of council will make a comment, we'll use roads, about a particular challenge in their road. But really what they're saying is it's a regional road, how do we fix it? But they're using that local, the local hat for being the representative of that area. But on the bigger issues, we've got big problems. We need to be heard by both the province and the federal government. on the challenges related to, well, one great story is how we've been able to manage the Go East expansion, but on bigger issues. When we talked in the first segment about homelessness and mental health and addiction related challenges and how our communities really need to talk about the challenges we're having in all 8 communities, not just in one community. So hopefully that the members of council heard me, and we can continue to work on some of those big regional challenges that affect all of our residents, not just a small little corner of the region.
Okay, talk about a challenge that affects the entire region. Let's talk about the Durham Police budget. You recently heard from Durham Police on their wishes, and aren't they asking for nearly a 10% increase in their budget?
So they're looking for a very large increase in their budget, and policing challenges relate to our first part of the segment: mental health, homelessness, addictions. The challenges of dealing with policing today is very much different than dealing with policing when I first was elected to council in Oshawa as the mayor. The world has changed, and the business of policing has changed. But the challenge goes back to what they're trying to do and trying to meet the needs of our community. And with you'll hear a lot of people saying that crime really hasn't increased. That's not true. The challenges we're having in our community are greater now than ever before. And when you've got police officers that are now at Lake Ridge Health with people who are having many mental health challenges, along with a mental health nurse who works with that police officer, and they're there for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, that's a challenge. That's not something we used to do, but we do it now because at the municipal level of government, we work to deliver solutions. But the challenge is, when I mentioned earlier, the revolving door of re-releasing people who have been convicted on selling drugs, those challenges. People that are released, that have been released back into the community under police supervision, where the police have to go and check on them on a regular basis, that is a challenge. And policing today is very different. There's more people in our communities. There's more vehicles on the road. There's more challenges. So the chief is looking for more people, and it's going to be a tough budget. And we're working with him and the Police Services Board to get something to council that everyone can support. But this year's budget it's a high number, and we've sent it back to them for that conversation.
Almost overwhelming when you think of everything they have to deal with. Big city problems that just, have mushroomed since COVID.
But here at the region, it's not just policing. It's our paramedics. It's the people that work in public health. It's, we've got 10 social workers that are working the streets. We've got mental health nurses working with police officers. We've got paramedics and outreach workers out on the street trying to deal with the challenges that we have. And then, we still look after our water treatment and wastewater plants, daycare, all of the other parts that make the region work. And making the budget happen with the challenges. And this is where trying to get the ear of the provincial and federal government to understand the complexities of municipal government. And, I sit on a number of committees as the mayors and chairs sit on their large group. I sit on Marco. I chair the GTH mayors and chairs, and trying to get the federal government to understand how their decisions affect people that live in our communities. And it's important. So, I've written the 3 leaders in Ottawa to talk about, can we sit around a kitchen table someplace and let me bring you the challenges of Durham Region as a microcosm of the challenges of what's going on in this country. Let me bring the people that you need to hear from. Let us bring our frontline service people. Let's talk about solutions. Let's talk about where we want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Let's talk about where we want to see our country 25 years. And those.
And did you get a response though, John?
Well, no. I did write the MPs and the MPPs, and I have had a response from some. But here, it's not just a Durham issue. When I talk about being parts of the other groups, this is an issue that they need to hear. And, could you imagine what would happen in this country if we fixed the challenges of homelessness, mental health, and addictions, and all of the money that is going into those problems now could be able to be utilized in other things that we need to do, like maybe affordable housing. But they got to hear us. And they're not. In fact, I'm going to be honest and say, except for a few MPPs and MPs, they're not even listening to us. And that's a shame, because we really are their partner. This isn't, I'm an independent. I'm not tied to a political party. This is about having conversations about the needs of our residents and solving a problem. And we need to have those conversations. And I'm available to go to Ottawa at any time. But I would not be going there to create an argument. I'm going there to talk about solutions and the way we fix this.
Okay. We've only got about 2 minutes left. I want to end on a very positive note. Update on the GO Transit expansion to Bowmanville. Where are we at after 30 years of trying to get this moving?
30 years, you're absolutely right. And I can tell you, I was tired of going to announcements where they talked about the train is coming. Well, I'm going to tell you now, the train is coming. And the region, I'm proud of Durham Region and Mayor Foster and Mayor Carter on the work that their teams have done around transit-oriented development. And our staff here at the region, we've put together a plan that will allow the train stations to be built utilizing transit-oriented development and the uplift in the increase from what's going to happen on those lands. This is a really good story. The province heard us. They listened to us. Metrolinx is now adopting Durham Region's plan. That's how they're going to go forward. And I'm hoping the way to see when this is actually going to happen, and I believe it will happen in the very near future, is when you see a demolition permit being pulled for the at Nob Hill Farms, and that will be the sign that the train is coming, and it's coming soon.
Okay, we've got just about 50 seconds left. What are you looking forward to most in the coming year?
Oh, I think for us, getting through the next budget, which will be a challenge, but continuing to try to work with the other levels of government to put a plan in place that will be a vision that's not inside a term of council or council, like 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. We need to see where we can get to maximizing what this country stands for. We're one of the richest countries in the world, and we grow our region here in Durham Region. We grow $1 billion with agricultural products. Yet we have people on the street that are hungry. So, working with the other levels of government to make things happen, to make this a better place for everyone. But we have to do it outside of a term of council. Okay. On that, we are out of time. John Henry, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. It's good to see you again, Deb. Good to see you too. And thanks to you, our viewers, for joining us. Until next time, I'm Debra Hutchison. Bye for now.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
You must be the reporter. Come with me.
So, Miss McGill, how does it feel being Canada's famous women engineer?
The real story is the work we've done retooling this factory.
To build the Hawker Hurricane?
Indeed. 40 planes last month with a capacity of up to 100. Our fighters are over England as we speak. Of course, it pains me to see airplanes mass-produced like boxcars or baby carriages. But in war, we make concessions in favor of innovation.
You must feel at home, though, managing all of these women.
I'm not here to manage women.
Well, you must admit it is an unusual job.
I'm the chief engineer here. I do what engineers do. That's all.
What are we doing now?
We are to win this war. We need to know how she flies.
Elsie McGill was the world's first female aeronautical engineer. She oversaw Canada's production of Hawker Hurricanes during the Second World War, earning her the nickname Queen of the Hurricanes.
Was that 4 or 5? He's lost count and still thinks he can drive. Do you think he knows that when he is caught and charged with impaired driving, he'll lose his license and a lot more? If he gets in his car, he'll face costs exceeding $20,000. Does he realize he could have a criminal record for his choice to drive? And it could be much worse if he crashes. I wonder what he'll be thinking tomorrow.
Have a Holden 1 at 15.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.